Ladies and gentlemen, we're at it again. Get ready for a rollicking ride through the world of Mission Impossible, a franchise so daring it makes skydiving on a motorbike look like a walk in the park. We're about to dissect the latest installment of this saga where Ethan Hunt and his gravity-defying, age-eluding, impossible mission-doing crew tackle missions so implausible that even the laws of physics are left scratching their heads in disbelief. Hold on to your seats as we dive deep into the heart of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And trust us, the fun has only just begun. So hit the like and subscribe button or die. No, not really, but do it anyway. And once you're done, let's get into it. There's a higher chance of winning the lottery 7 times in a row than there is making 7 good franchise movies back to back. So the Mission Impossible movies are a total rarity. What blows my mind is the plot is the same every time. Ethan Hunt goes after the bad guys while the government goes after him, only for them to realize he's on their side, give him a mission with a strict set of rules that he breaks, so they go after him as he goes after the bad guy who kills his girlfriend, so he literally runs after them, jumps off a building or a cliff or out of a moving car. And it works every time. This movie franchise is iconic. I do not use that word lightly. From the cinematography to the cast to the legendary theme music. They have been making these movies for 26 years, with 5 directors and not a single miss. Also, pretty ballsy move putting Part 1 at the end of this title. I respect it. Tom Cruise, at 61, still defying gravity, while I'm here at my age struggling to defy gravity enough to get out of bed. It's like he's aging in reverse, and I'm aging like a fine cheese, getting creakier by the day. Here's something to think about. If you are 20, Tom Cruise is closer to 100 than you are to 60, and he can probably still whoop your butt 7 times. Anyway, let's cut the crap and get down to brass tacks. Wait, can we curse? Hold up. Let me replace the word crap with something with the same meaning. All right, folks, let's cut the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and get down to brass tacks. There, that's better. The movie kicks off with a Russian submarine in the Bering Sea, and there's a key that's more Indiana Jones than James Bond. For a moment, I was ready for the ultimate crossover showdown, Indy versus spies. But alas, we dive into Russian waters where they're testing their fancy active learning defense system, or as we affectionately call it, AI. Because, well, it's AI. This super smart AI was meant to give Russia the upper hand, but it decides to pull a midlife crisis move, opting for mind games and a murderous spree instead. Clearly, it skipped the peaceful coexistence part of its programming manual. Next, we're treated to a scene where Ethan is lurking in the shadows, both literally and metaphorically, as he tries to recruit a new member for the Mission Impossible Force. Let's face it, Mission Impossible Force sounds like a club for people who excel at losing car keys. It might be a thrilling movie, but that name, well, it's as if they're advertising their failures up front. Join us if you want your missions to be about as impossible as finding a unicorn in a haystack. Sorry, but it's true. In the midst of all this spy drama, the movie decides to treat us to a history lesson, probably to prepare us for a second coming of an old villain. It's like they're saying, hey, remember this guy? Well, he's back, and this time he brought his A game and a deep grudge. And there's a faint whisper in the wind, suggesting that these might be the last 2 movies in the franchise. Cue dramatic gasps and popcorn spilling as fans contemplate a world without impossible missions. It's almost like Mission Impossible is contemplating its own Mission Impossible. Also, why do these guys keep warning Ethan not to break the rules? That's literally his whole thing. I also found it hilarious how they tell him, we're looking for a key, but pretend we didn't just tell you about the key because it's none of your beeswax. But oh, your girlfriend stole it and we want her dead. And oh yeah, that key we told you was none of your concern? Bring it to us. Like what? Cut to the next scene and we're in the Arabian desert where Ethan's girlfriend appears to be preparing for an epic battle. I love how this movie brings back characters from previous movies, like the Sandstorm from Ghost Protocol. Good to see you again, buddy boy. Then we have an epic fight scene where Ethan and love interest Julia kick butt. Next, in some top-secret government meeting, we see a guy standing at the back. At first, I thought it might be a droid, because, well, this movie has an AI theme. But no, it turns out to be none other than Ethan Mother-Loving Hunt. We can't talk about how iconic this franchise is without talking about the Scooby-Doo-esque masks. These masks are just about as iconic as this tune and definitely wouldn't be a Mission Impossible movie without them. It's refreshing how this movie doesn't take itself too seriously and even pokes fun at the ridiculousness of the Impossible Mission Force name and its entire purpose. I mean, let's be honest, when your organization's name practically screams impossible, you're just asking for trouble. It's like naming your cat Dog and expecting it to fetch. Kudos to the movie for having a good sense of humor about its own absurdity. So after Ethan knocks everyone out except Aldrich with gas, Ethan and Aldrich engage in dialogue that kinda leads to a memory sequence where we find Julius still alive, which I honestly found corny. And I don't understand. I can clearly see gas still in the air when they take their masks off. Are they somehow immune or something? In the middle of the movie, just in case we suffered temporary amnesia and forgot we were watching a Mission Impossible film, they give us a Marvel-like beginning sequence. Anyway, enter Agent Briggs and Agent Degas, two government agents who look like they're auditioning for training day, but in reverse. These poor souls are tasked with catching a man who seems to defy not only government agents, but time itself. I mean, seriously, how is this guy still outrunning explosions and defying gravity in his 60s? And let's not forget the pep talk in the helicopter, where Agent Briggs refers to Ethan as the incarnation of chaos. Hold on a second. He literally saved the world 7 times, and they call him chaotic? It's like calling a superhero a menace to society while they're out there stopping super villains. This movie has many strengths, but a logical plot isn't one of them. But hey, who needs logic when you've got Tom Cruise, defying age, and common sense with every daring stunt? I love how Benji talks about the inevitability of AI going rogue. This lighthearted humor in the midst of an existential threat and desensitization to mass death isn't normal, but boy, do we love to see it. And then, the airport scene. There are so many awesome scenes in this movie, it's absolutely impossible to have a favorite. But the amount of authenticity and great acting in this scene has worth giving it a special mention. First of all, I love how Benji and Luther don't take their job seriously. In the middle of a life-or-death mission, they are bickering like a married couple over who's the better hacker. Also, the face-changing technology that sent the agents on a wild goose chase was hilarious. Furthermore, the airport scene is where we have our first look at the main antagonist, Gabriel, and Carmen Sandiego impersonator, Grace. I cringed while watching Ethan do a magic trick in the middle of a mission that was unnecessary. Like, come on, Houdini? This is not the ideal time to be showing off your chick magnet party tricks. Watching Benji try and disarm the bomb was honestly not as exhilarating as the writers intended it to be, because there's no way a nuclear bomb is going on to kill the entire cast. All these riddles gave me a headache, so this part is worth a skip, because surprise, surprise, the bomb was empty. And when Benji answered the "Who is the most important to you?" question, I half expected Vin Diesel to whisper, "Family," from behind him and give us the sickest crossover in movie history. But whatever. I understand that Grace is supposed to be a self-preserving thief with redeemable qualities, but after Ethan explained how important and dangerous the key is, she still stole it and ran off, which could have led to the death of millions. But somehow, she's one of the protagonists. Even after helping her escape police custody, she betrays him again. Like, come on, man! Woman? Luckily, before I even have time to get mad, the movie gives us the best car scene in modern movie history. How is it possible that the car chases in Mission Impossible movies get better with every movie? Also, this brings me back to the question of how sick a Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious crossover would be. Think about it. They could be family. The safe car part of the chase had me on the floor laughing. Especially at the end when they somehow switch seats after the car cartwheeled. Brilliant! So they find our friend Gabriel is working with the AI system, and this kinda adds to his mystique and threatening nature. The relationship between Gabriel and Alana is kind of confusing, and as a matter of fact, the entire club scene is too packed. You have the two agents, Gabriel and Alana, the AI system, and every henchman in Hollywood all at the same party. I did get chills when Gabriel told Grace about how Ethan's love interests always get hurt, knowing darn well he's killed one of them and has intentions of hurting her. Between Thanos and Negan from The Walking Dead, Gabriel might just be the coldest villain we've seen in a while. Wait, hold up. Let's pause for a second. Why does Paris have that powder on her face? Is she some kind of ninja geisha? Does she do this before every mission? I need answers. So I get that Ethan is a great guy, and Gabriel probably knows that, but it doesn't make sense that Gabriel made him choose between Grace and Ilsa. Ethan has only known Grace for a few hours, and she spent most of that time stealing from him and leaving him in potentially deadly situations. Ilsa, on the other hand, is his love interest, and they have quite an extensive history, so yeah, that didn't make much sense. Anyway, after that rascal AI tricked Ethan by impersonating Benji and giving him the wrong directions, Ethan ends up in an ambush where Paris and some well-dressed goon are waiting. Naturally, Ethan defeats them and spares Paris's life. At this point, I can already tell this would pay off, but we get to that shortly. Unlucky for her, Grace ends up coming face to face with Gabriel. Now, I understand that she's some kind of badass thief, but we've all been led to believe that Gabriel is an absolute beast of a villain, so I don't understand how she holds up that well. Ilsa comes out of nowhere, and it becomes immediately obvious that she's going to die, leaving Grace to become Ethan's new love interest. Ethan runs as fast as his 61-year-old legs can carry him, but he's too late. I want to feel bad for him, but considering how many ladies he's had since the first movie, I have a rather dark feeling that he's happy about it. But that's just me. So after Ilsa's sacrifice, Grace is compelled to join the team, for real this time. The train scene is phenomenal, especially the whole bike off the cliff part. Even crazier is the fact that Tom Cruise did all those stunts himself. Pure art! So just like the party scene, the train scene is a little crowded too. In this scene, however, Vanessa Kirby showcased her incredible talent when she acted like Grace, wearing a mask impersonating Alana. Another thing that doesn't make sense is when Grace canceled the $100 million transfer. That part was absolutely hard to watch, because she didn't have to. She could have stolen the key and kept the money. Why wouldn't she keep the money? Why? Cue the great betrayal in anticipation of betrayal. So I'm guessing that AI told Gabriel that Paris would probably betray him because Ethan spared her life, which poses the questions. Why on earth would she tell him that? How did he find out? How did she think it would play out? Anyway, long story short, he stabs her. Not enough to kill her, but enough that she would be alive long enough to betray him and possibly be resuscitated. Yeah, that's flawed writing right there, guys. The final train scene was epic and an awesome way to wrap up the movie. In the end, Gabriel goes back empty-handed, and our hero Ethan gets some information from former villain Paris, the French-speaking geisha warrior. The movie ends with some kind of voiceover narration whatchamacallit as Ethan parachutes to the ground. And there you have it, fellow thrill seekers. We traverse the high-octane world of Mission Impossible, where gravity is just a suggestion, and the word impossible is merely a warm-up to some epic stuff. As the credits roll on this cinematic adventure, we leave you with a tip of our hats to Tom Cruise, the ageless wonder who defies both time and logic, a true legend. Remember, whether it's gadgets, masks, or gravity-defying stunts, Mission Impossible delivers it all with a wink and a nod. So until the next heart-pounding installment, keep those seatbelts fastened. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you at the next one.